All right, hey everybody, welcome to the Crown Council Live program. I am Stuart Anderson, and this is July 9th. This is our live stream broadcast where we come to you once a week, the Crown Council community. We're grateful to be with you. We've got some great interviews, some fun updates, some engagement ideas, and things to keep everybody in the Crown Council together, working together, engaged, and part of this incredible community. That is what we hope that you feel part of this community and you learn some of the stories, connect with our resource partners, doctors, team members, and see all the incredible things that are happening as part of this group. So I'm grateful to be with you. I'm Stuart Anderson here in Salt Lake City. I'm going to be sharing some recorded segments today. I'm going to be sharing my screen and a few items to make sure that we're all on the same page, especially some engagement ideas. So I'm going to share my screen right now. You are looking at crowncouncil.com. This is our Young Dentist program. We are going to be together with this Young Dentist program next week. For those that don't know, I am just going to describe this program real quick. This is our onboarding program for great new young doctors who want to be part of the Crown Council, as well as have a jump start to their clinical excellence when it comes to smile design, working with a lab, presenting cases to patients. This is a 3 weekend program that starts at the Crown Council annual event. So our next session will be in 2027, January 28th, 29th, and 30th at the Nashville annual event. That's where the Young Dentist program kicks off. And then two more sessions next summer, live sessions together. There's room for about 50 young doctors, and we are half full for next year. We are meeting with the 2026 class next week. That's where we're going to wrap up. We get to do a smile design on a patient and be with them, and the young dentists get to watch what it's like to do a full mouth case on a doctor this year, which is really fun. We'll be able to present that and share more of the details of the Young Dentist program. But we've had a lot of questions this week about joining. This is right on crowncouncil.com. You go to Young Dentist program, and all the information is right here. All right, we're also looking at my directory on crowncouncil.com. If you go here and you're logged into the Premium Member Hub, we just want to talk about Smiles for Life for just a minute. This is our campaign, which has come to an end for 2026. Our totals here these are not our finalized numbers. We are waiting for a few more submissions to come in through July. So submissions can come in through July for the Smiles for Life program for 2026 to count to this year's totals. So very fun to look at these totals. So grateful for everyone. I think we'll eclipse this $1 million mark. We're so close as everyone gets their last bit of donations in as we see who is going to be the top office for 2026. But as I mentioned, not our finished totals. We are gathering and preparing those for the end of the month, and we'll have a final reveal of our Smiles for Life totals coming up. There are some important dates though. This month, as I just mentioned, is the last month where you can get in all of your donations. So the program is still running through July. You can finish up seeing patients, you can collect. No whitening is being distributed anymore from Ultradent. And then we are going to be calling your office or sending you a letter soon to account for all of the kits that you have ordered, as well as the money that you have raised. So you'll want to report to us or let us know how many kits you have left. And then Ultradent is asking that we make a donation or you make a donation for those extra kits. That's coming soon. We're also going to be distributing our local charity checks. That's going to be coming in September. So if you've picked a local charity, you'll need to submit their 501c3 information as well as their determination letter. A copy of that letter, as it says here, we're going to send a copy of that letter off to the Crown Council, and you'll be able to receive that check in September. That's coming soon. So grateful for everything that's happened with Smiles for Life. What an incredible year to see the donations come in and to see all of the giving and service that comes from the Smiles for Life Foundation and the Doing Good Together. An incredible patient generation generator. So many new patients finding our Crown Council doctors through the stories that are put out for both local charities and the humanitarian work and all the incredible things happening with Smiles for Life. So thank you for that. Thank you for participating and obviously more information coming. We're going to actually have a few interviews today from participating offices to share some of their experiences with Smiles for Life. All right, one more thing. Let me share my screen. crowncouncil.com. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And in my directory in the Premium Member Hub, just to draw your attention to a few things. We are constantly posting new content. Everyone on your team has access to this content. So everyone, not just the doctor, can create a login and password. They can access this material. And Steve and I and the team here are constantly updating it. The skill of the week is updated once a week. Mentor of the month, obviously once a month. Crown Conversations is something new that we started, a more intimate group of about 20 that meet on different topics. Our powerful team meetings, they happen once a month. We are creating those from speakers from the annual events, just small 5-10 minute clips. And then our expert webinars. These are those webinars that you have to register for, and we do those once a month as well. All of them are found here in the library that you can go back and watch, share with your team, prescribe homework, which is very fun. Everybody loves homework. We're going to watch some of the Jen Durst Genergy Mentor of the Month today, so you'll sample some of that. And I wanted to sample our skill of the week. I think I've shared let's make sure that I've shared the sound. Okay, I have. We're going to watch this skill of the week today. These are something that you and your team can use and be a part of every single week. Something that will help train your culture and it will help train the skills of your practice. And these are things that need to be constantly worked on. The entropy in the practice obviously creates a bit of a change. These skills have to be worked on all the time, and we have found this is a great way to do it. Just a 2-minute 50 video, and we're gonna watch this, the most important sound a patient can hear, so you get a sample or a taste of what the skill of the week is like. Welcome everyone to the skill of the week. Steve, what is that sound?
Sounds everywhere. So when you think about it, the dental experience for most patients is filled with sounds. The sound of the drill, the sound of the phone ringing, the sound of patients being greeted as they come in, the sound of team members and patients talking. There's sounds everywhere. But do you know the sweetest sound, the most important sound in the dental office?
I am intrigued, Steve. Tell us what this sound is.
It's the patient's name. This one is so straightforward and often overlooked. In the best-selling book, it's almost 100 years old, entitled How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie emphasized and taught us that the sweetest sound in every language and in the dental office is a person's name.
I love it. Yeah, there are so many overlooked opportunities to use the patient's name.
Yes, there are. So let's take a look at a few. Stuart, let's go through. Number one, how about during every phone call, the first thing that should be asked is the patient's name by saying, again, my name is Steve and yours is?
That's great. All right. How about this one? When the patient arrives, anticipate the patient's arrival and greet them by name. If it's their first visit to the office, you can say, "You must be Steve."
That's right. And if you mess up and it's the wrong name and the patient says, "No, I'm Mike," just say, "Great, that's what I was going to say next."
All right. Here's the next one. When they enter the treatment room, every team member who enters the room can greet the patient by name.
Right. When you leave, if it's the last time you'll interact with the patient during their appointment, always use your name. Stuart, thanks again for coming in today. We'll see you next time.
I love it. Yeah. All right. Here's the next one. All communication between appointments should include the patient's name, including text messages.
Mm-hmm.
Technology has the ability to embed that patient's name in the message, so do it so they won't be confused with a mass message.
In fact, in one of the most recent studies, text messages using the patient's first name received a 57% better response, more immediate response, compared to text messages that did not use the patient's first name. Use their name.
I love it. Yeah. So of all the sounds in the dental office, The patient's name is the sweetest sound. Use it at every interaction.
So now go master the skill with the sweetest sound.
All right, you get a taste of what's that like. What's that's like. Very fun to share those with your team. A huge library of skill of the week videos, hundreds actually. We've been doing the skill of the week and updating it every week for years. So enjoy those. Please share them with your team together or by themselves. All right, very good. All right, we're gonna move on. I've got some recorded videos. Let me just open them up real quick. The first one is some top tips coming from one of our offices that run Smiles for Life every year. These are tips and tricks for working with a local charity. Local charity advice is something that's going to be happening here very soon. I know that some of this advice is coming from a place of just participating in the Smiles for Life Foundation, but some of this advice is very helpful for interacting with your local charity at the end of the campaign, throughout the year, and presenting the check. So I'm going to share my screen. This is some of the team from Just for Grins. 12-minute clip about working with your local charity. Can we talk about, okay, so two things we tell everyone. So one, let's talk about local charity. We encourage all Smiles for Life practices to be involved. Pick a local charity and don't just hand them a check. Do a thing where like, no, this is our partner. Can you guys talk about that for just a second? Is your local charity a partner? How do you involve them? Is that a thing that the team knows about? Can you just talk about your relationship with your local charity?
Yes, we love Christ Haven. We're involved with Christ Haven. After this campaign is over, we all go on a meeting day and deliver this big check to them. And we sit and we have lunch with them, and they show us their facilities. We're getting our chart. Sorry.
No, this is great.
Everybody is engaged, like they're able to see Christ Haven, not just hear about Christ Haven. And then taking it a step further, which I think really tugs on everybody's heartstrings, is several of them are patients here. So host families and their kids, they're patients here, and so we see them frequently, and they feel like part of us, and so we just love being part of them. Also, there are several of us who have gone and helped at like their food pantry and things like that. So we as a whole just love them so much, and it does make a difference. Yeah.
Very good. Oh, hold on. Okay. Oh, that was it. Very good. Just a few minutes long. All right, very good. All right, so some great advice, working with your local charity, participating with Smiles for Life. I thought that clip was a little longer. Sorry, everybody. All right, very good. So more information is coming out soon about participating with your local charity, local checks that are coming out. We love this aspect of the Smiles for Life Foundation, especially for team engagement, connecting with your community. There is nothing better than being passionate about the charity that you pick as a team to rally behind and raise money for. So very good. Thanks to the Office of Just for Grins for sharing that. All right. Steve and I met with Dr. Jennifer Durst, and we did the last Mentor of the Month with her. We had the opportunity to speak to her for about an hour. We're not going to share the whole Mentor of the Month, but very fun to hear from her, her advice, some of her experiences. I'm going to share and play some of that recording today, and then you can watch or listen to the rest of it in the Crown Council library. But very fun for Crown Council member Jennifer Durst to be with us. So let me share my screen with this video, and I'm going to share it for you. Here we go.
And thank you for being a Crown Council Mentor of the Month. And as you know, this whole experience is learning from others, copying genius, which you've experienced over the years as being part of our community. And one of my favorite things is origin stories. So much of what all of us become started early on. And so for you, maybe you could start by sharing us, where did it all begin for you? Early family life, and kind of what were some of the most influential events and people in your early years? Where did
That's
Jen come from?
this is a good. It's not linear, but I grew up in a small town in rural Wisconsin. It was 8,000 people. It was drive your tractor to school day. Like I became friends with the row in the high school parking lot of people who did drive their tractor to school because you weren't allowed to park there unless you're part of that group of farm crew, or they'd spit on your car with chewing tobacco if you weren't permitted. However, my car was as old as I was. It was a 79. I'm giving away my age, but because it was so old, they needed it for shop class all the time. So it was like a win-win. They would let me park there, and I'd give them the keys when I show up at school, and they would take it and I'd come back and things would be happening to it. So it ended up being a win-win. So that's the kind of environment I grew up in. Was in small town, really salt of the earth people. Like, everyone just people were. I didn't lock my doors growing up. I also would leave my car running in the parking lot of the Piggly Wiggly with the keys in it. No one would take it because they knew it was my car. But it was, it was cold. It'd be sub-zero. If I turned it off, I wouldn't be able to turn it back on. So that was the kind of place I grew up.
Very cool.
Very,
Jen,
very fun.
looking back at some of those early life experiences, is there any story or experience that stands out that really had an impact on you?
I think it was the science department of my high school. There were two. Okay, I was a band geek and hung out in the science labs after school and before school. So maybe that was pretty influential. The one, I played the French horn, so it was too heavy to carry home. So I'd have to practice before school or after school. I didn't want to take that thing home. It's so heavy. So I ended up spending a lot of time in that band room, like practicing and spending time with my our instructor, if you would call him. And he was an amazing human being. Loved the guy. It's a bit of a sad story, but when I was in high school, my senior year, his wife passed away, and she had severe spine pain. She committed suicide, and she was my neighbor also. So I knew these people really, really well. And the band geek that I told him, just I got this. And I ended up running the band my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So I just figured out how to look at the music. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I kind of like figured out, okay, let's make these gestures, and people followed it. It kind of worked. I think that was really influential in leadership. It wasn't something I planned on doing at all. It wasn't driven to lead a band, but I did because it was just needed to step in. I think that was a big influence. And then also just hanging out with my science nerds. It was fun. They used to call me the curse of Durst because I'd light things on fire by accident, like the extraction of caffeine from tea. I left the tea bag on the burner once and it started flaming. So also like the fun of having random failures, or one time I put acid in over the base and it didn't mix properly and it exploded. And I was like, okay, now I understand why we have to do things a certain way. So
Jen, you're the embodiment of what we call FIO. Figure it out.
Yeah, you took my other F out of there, but yes.
All right, so here's one of my favorite interview questions.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason that I love to ask this. Interview questions like for job applicants, which is, what was your very first paying job, like outside the home, and how old were you? Because there is a correlation between the age at which you start working and work ethic. So I have a guess. I have a guess for what age you were when you started. So what was your first job outside the home, and what was it? How old were you?
I love this interview. You question when I interview doctors too. So technically, when I turned 11, I started hustling the babysitter world because there was also these books back then called the Babysitter Club, and we all read them. And I thought I'm going to be a babysitter club, but I was really the only person in the club because my friends didn't want to do it. So $2 an hour, and I babysat for this family every Tuesday night. And then they went on they had a great life because I had a $2 an hour babysitter. So every Friday or Saturday I would get to babysit as well. And that was the first off the grid hustle. And then as soon as I turned 14, I worked for a restaurant called Culver's, and I worked for the founder. There was only 4 restaurants at the time, so he was in the place all the time. And they told me always, you got time to lean, you got time to clean. And so I worked the drive-through because there was never any breaks in the drive-through. I didn't want to clean.
Nice.
I suspect that as a dentist, you've probably been heard to say that to a team member or two.
I would imagine.
Is that a good suspicion?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say that. I'm sure I did.
Yeah. Jen,
I do it myself too. I will get, like my team would tell you, I would also get under the chair and I'd be scrubbing on the floors as well, because if I don't have a patient, like what are we going to do? Doing stuff.
Jen, when my dad was in high school, he always tells this story about how he used to work in a furniture factory and he would watch these awful plywood boards come through. And he was like, how can anyone stand to be in a factory like this for your entire life? Did you have any moment like that when you were young, like maybe a job where you were like, okay, I'm going to make a decision here that's going to impact me for the best with your employment?
Well, I also worked at Walmart.
Okay.
Did I expand
Okay,
more?
there it is.
And when it rained, there'd be all these little frogs in the garden department. Like I could not find a department in that place that suited me. I tried sorting deodorant. I was a cashier. I did all of it. So I could probably go run a Walmart right now. I don't want to.
You migrated all over the store. So why dentistry? What were the biggest influences that pointed you towards dentistry?
This is such a great question. When I was in college, I decided to major in biology and chemistry because my doubles partner, I played tennis. My doubles partner she was so organized. And I could not, remember when we went to school, it was a book. It wasn't online registration. You had to like go and do it. So that was daunting to try to figure out how to get in labs with the schedule, et cetera. And I knew I loved science anyway. So I majored in biology and chemistry. And she was pre-med. I was like, she's got this together. I'll be pre-med too. So I just did that whole scene. And then I realized there was no way I could sit still for 9 hours taking the MCAT. I can't sit that long. It would be nearly impossible. And then I did this preceptorship in the hospitals where you would follow people, and I was following people doing colonoscopies with all the farts. And then I was following like, I mean, I shadowed.
This sounds like your Walmart experience.
It was like the Walmart experience. I was like, I don't know that medicine's for me, man. Like some of this stuff. And then I really like, my heart hurt too bad too. And somebody was going through really bad cancer stuff. I just like, I don't know if I want my patients to live, and I want to see them all the time. And if I'm doing a spine surgery, granted, I know my spine surgeon and my anesthesiologist pretty well at this point. But I wanted to have relationships, and going into medicine, I knew if I didn't match the right field, if I matched as a plastic surgeon, I'd see them one time. If I matched maybe as a dermatologist, I'd get to see them more. And then I went home for a dental appointment. My dentist had all this farm produce. He got paid in like chickens and cookies and corn. And this kid came in crying, got a tooth pulled, left smiling and waving. And I was like, I want to get baked goods. This is where I want to work. I want to be a dentist. where I have these relationships and somebody brings me treats. Like, I want cookies. So that was
That may
simple
be the
process.
most that may be the most transparent admission I have ever heard.
There's
I want cookies.
I want cookies and I won't sit for a 9-hour exam.
I love that.
Jen, was there anybody early in dentistry that was a big factor or influence for you, like a mentor or someone that you kind of latched onto early in your, even as a student?
Yeah. You know, as a student, one of my mentors was Kim Cooch, who started
Oh.
Carefree.
Yeah.
And it's because I dated his son, so I got to meet him and spend a lot of time with him. So I'm not supposed to admit that on there, but we became good friends that way. And he was really influential because when I finished, he always told me, going to dental school is your license to learn. You don't know anything right now. We were still plugging amalgams back then. He's like, these are going to be outdated. No one's going to want them. This is your license to get out and start taking CE. So when I did, and I worked for Paul in Arizona, and next thing I know, I'm getting Smile Design cases, and I'm not even a year out of school. I thought, oh, I gotta start taking some education. I don't know what I'm doing. This is terrifying that people are paying me. So I called Kim, and he said, you got to go to the COIS Center. That's the best place for you to start right now. And so I did. I started the COIS Center my first year out, super influential. And I know a lot of people say that, but also because back then I was one of the few women dentists in Scottsdale, they built that whole center. And I'm not afraid to tell you all, I used to sneak in and take some dental assistant who hadn't showed up to a class name tag, and I would go and I would audit CE all the time. So sorry to those of you who are out there, if anybody listens to this and you're part owner in that place. Yes, I stole.
Flagged. What a menace.
I know.
I love it.
You said you wanted authentic.
Yeah,
You're
no,
getting
this is it. We're getting it. Fun.
Your first practice experience. So this is what I call your launch day, straight out of dental school. What was the first practice experience?
It was a company that's really, really big that was out of California. So it was a DSO. I beat down the door to work there, and they hired me. I did, because I didn't think I wanted to own a business ever. You cannot tell these things to the universe.
Right.
The universe doesn't hear the don't part, right? It only
That's
hears.
correct. You cannot focus on the opposite of an idea. That is very true.
Exactly. So I was never going to be a business person. I was going to be a dentist, get my cookies. So I beat down the door to work for this DSO, and I didn't last. It culturally didn't feel right for me at the time.
So let's drill down on that real quick.
Yeah.
For you, everybody's experience is different.
Yeah.
For you, what didn't fit?
When I was working there, we were still doing PFMs. I feel like I'm dating myself, but I already told you when I was born. So we were still doing PFMs. And I had this patient who had 3 jobs. He was an immigrant from somewhere in Africa. He was working UPS. He was doing all this. He was working to, become a part of our society. And when my practice manager came in, and I was doing a root canal, probably the only root canal I've ever done. The guy's got a rubber dam on. I'm doing endo. I'm going to do the post-core crown. And I know the guy's core. And she said, he's in the middle of treatment. She's like, I know you agreed to this noble metal underneath the PFM, but if you want to spend $85 more and get the better metal under the PFM, I was like, back then, 20-something-year-old me was a little unhinged. I told her to get out, take your long nails and that cheap calculator, and stop calculating things. You can handle this later. I'm not. I'm going to get the treatment, take care of for this person, and I'm not going to be a part of that conversation. It felt really, really icky.
All right, I'll stop there. if you can hear me. The rest of the interview with Jen is so fun as she shares more of her professional advice and her journey. I'm going to navigate to my screen real quick so I can show you where to go to get the rest of the Mentor of the Month. So here's my screen. I'm going to go back to the Crown Council team library, and this is in the, let's just go all the way to, okay, so Premium Member Hub, latest content. Here's Jen right here. You can watch the video. Very fun. We got about 20 minutes in, but a lot to learn, especially as Jen shares a few things about some setbacks in her career, things that kind of she wasn't expecting, things that she had to pivot and change and adjust, and a lot to learn from her about that. So, all right, our last little video of the live stream today, Dental Lifeline Network. This is an interview we did. This is just a really fun partnership connection that we made. This is a charity. So it's just an introduction to their charitable work. There's two outcomes to this video. One, do you want to participate as a Dental Lifeline Network doctor? So they have an incredible charitable operation that you can be a part of. Or we have the opportunity to pick them as a Smiles for Life. We can donate money to them from your practice if this is something that you're passionate about. So they're going to share their stories, about a 20-minute interview we have with them. Let me share my screen. And you can meet the Dental Lifeline Network, and a fun, exciting, engaging way to share your talents and do good as a team. So hopefully you enjoy this little segment we did. All right. Hey, everybody. Stuart Anderson here. If you're watching us or listening to us, we're grateful to have you with us on Crown Council Live. We have two guests you've never met before from Dental Lifeline Network. I don't even now remember how we met. Who introduced us, Gage, to each other?
Connections through connections.
That's
I think
terrible.
it was, yeah, I think it was Rita and Dr. Laura Schwinn, I think
Okay,
was
that's right.
important with that as well. So
Okay, so Laura Schwinn came on a Young Dentist
yeah,
podcast with me, and then graciously introduced us to each other and said, "Hey, you're going to be a great fit," which I believe we are, which is why you're here. So we're going to talk today all about Dental Lifeline Network history, how Crown Council members can connect with you, hopefully some fun stories about what you do, some patient stories. So all things can be brought out about what you guys do. So Amelia, Alexandria, your Zoom says Alexandria, and I struggle with this, but everyone calls you Gage, which is what I'm going to do. Is that fine?
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay, great. Will you guys introduce yourself? Just tell everybody what you do, and maybe high level explain to us if we're in an elevator what is going on with your jobs day to day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll start. I just want to start by saying thank you to Stuart and the whole Crown Council organization. We're so excited to be here and chatting with you about what it is that we do on the nonprofit side, working for Dental Lifeline Network. I'm on the development team, so I'm in the fundraising business. I work in corporate engagement, so I'm working to connect the mission of what we do here at Dental Lifeline Network with our corporate partners nationwide. We're a national organization, so being able to connect what we do to each and every dental company, dental adjacent companies, all the different things like that, and really working to strengthen our funding through lots of collaboration and different kinds of co-branding and marketing opportunities and everything like that. So that's me, and I'll let Amelia talk about who she is, and then also talk about what we do here at Dental Lifeline Network too.
Okay.
So I'm Amelia Ford, and I'm Director of Volunteer Engagement with Dental Lifeline Network. I've been with the organization for about 2 years, and in my role, I focus on recruitment, retention, and recognition of our incredible volunteer dentists, specialists, and labs. I have the privilege of building relationships with clinicians and partners across the entire country, helping them get involved in providing life-changing care to patients in need. And what I love most about my job is connecting with people and showing them how easy it is to give back through Dental Lifeline Network and our DDS program. Every volunteer and partner, I believe, has the potential to change somebody's life, and it's really rewarding to make those connections happen in my role.
Very cool. Very good. So this fits into the Crown Council qualified membership, which we believe every practice needs to be doing good. And I know you're doing good in your practices, but outside the practice, or maybe even a special mission or challenge, a lot like our Smiles for Life whitening campaign, that is something that you can do as a practice where you are doing good, creating stories that spread, charitable work, humanitarian work. Dental Lifeline Network is kind of a new, I don't want to call you guys new, but as we introduce you to Crown Council members, a different way that you could be doing good as a team outside the practice. There's so many incredible things that happen to your culture and happen to your team when you're doing good together. And that is what our focus is going to be today is if somebody wanted to connect with you or do and be part of Dental Lifeline Network, hopefully they'll have all the answers by the time we finish. So, Gage, what else? Could you talk about history, what Dental Lifeline Network is, and just share? I know you guys had a different name that you shared with me before, but that you
Yeah.
moved away from. Can you talk about that history?
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you talk about like we're a new opportunity for Crown Council, but we're not new
You
in
are
terms
not
of
new.
organization. So,
No.
our organization was actually started in 1974. So we've been around for more than 50 years. Started in Colorado. A doctor named Dr. Larry Coffey actually started the organization, originally named it the National Foundation of Dentistry for the Handicapped, which not only is quite the mouthful, but also, just terminology that we don't really use anymore. But the concept behind it actually is because he actually grew up with a sister that was living with disabilities. So he was very, very keyed into what special needs dentistry really meant, and using that kind of lived experience and shared experience with his sister, wanted to create an organization that would make it easier for people living with disabilities to get access to care. That then ended up blossoming into a much bigger organization with bigger communities. So the communities that we serve at Dental Lifeline Network are a little bit unique. I mentioned that we're a national organization. We have a presence in all 50 states. The patient communities that we serve are primarily the elderly, senior citizens, people living with disabilities. We have a really big veterans contingent as well, and people who are medically fragile. So if you're thinking about somebody who has recently been diagnosed with cancer but has a lot of oral health issues, maybe their oncologist says something to the effect of, I really don't want to start you on this chemo treatment until you get this addressed, that kind of thing. So really important communities that are technically a lot more underserved in the American population. But again, so who we're focused on as Dental Lifeline Network is the vulnerable adult American communities. We're really unique in that way. A lot of charities that you hear about in the dental space are really a lot more pediatric focused, right? You've got your Give Kids a Smile and Teen Smile and things like that.
Right.
Typically age range limited. But so we are unique in that we're serving the adult population. And I'm going to let Amelia actually get into kind of how we get into doing that.
Okay.
Because that's how we actually involve our dental volunteers. And that's actually, that's her forte for sure.
Okay. Do it, Amelia. Great.
Yeah, so like Gage mentioned, our organization started in 1974, and in 1985, we launched the Donated Dental Services Program. So that's our flagship program. It's really the heart of what we do today. And what it is, it's a coordinated network of volunteer dental professionals across the country who donate their time and their talent to those vulnerable adult populations that Gage just talked about. So our volunteer general dentists, specialists, and lab partners help our patients smile with confidence, eat without pain, and improve their overall health. Patients first apply to the program and are carefully screened by our coordinators to make sure they meet our eligibility criteria. And once a patient's approved, one of our dedicated state coordinators will reach out to that patient to let them know that they've been accepted into the program and match them with a volunteer general dentist who lives in their area. And if specialty care or lab fabrications are needed, the coordinator finds a lab to donate any needed fabrications and specialists to come in and help with whatever is needed. It might be oral surgery, it might be perio, endo, but we have many specialty volunteers as well. We ask that our volunteers consider treating just one patient a year. We send the patients to the office, so they're built into the schedule just like any other patient, which really allows our volunteers to focus on patient care, which is what they do best, and allows our coordinators to handle all the logistics. So, paperwork, scheduling, care coordination. We really try to make it as easy um, a lift as possible for our volunteers.
Very cool. You guys, great. I want to know, okay, let's get a little personal. Working for a charitable organization, I'm sure there's stories or experiences or things that you have been a part of that make you connected to this company. Do you want to talk about those for a minute? Gage, do you want to share first maybe what you've seen that makes this so special or different? Why you work here and can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I have a kind of a unique background in that I worked in the orthodontic space for about 12 years, running a local nonprofit organization here in Colorado called the Colorado Orthodontic Foundation. Real creative name, guys. But yeah, we were doing really great work, very similar kind of work to the DDS program at Dental Lifeline Network, where we would be placing low-income children that were in need of orthodontic care with volunteer dentists as well. So I saw very much that treatment coordination, care coordination, access to care space in my own personal work. I then worked actually for an organization that was doing fundraising for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So I was able to use kind of my fundraising skills on the disability side of things as well, in the disability sphere. When this job came out, it was doing fundraising for work in the oral health sphere and the disability sphere, dovetailing in this completely crazy way where I knew I had to throw my hat into the ring for it. But being able to combine those two things of things that I feel really passionate about, having worked in the disability sphere and understanding how special needs dentistry is a very complicated aspect of dentistry. And it's a aspect of dentistry that really doesn't get a lot of attention, but the people who are really passionate about it are very vocal advocates for how important it is. It's tough, but it's so rewarding and so worthwhile. I'm also, I have a lot of veterans in my family, so this is obviously like a very important organization for me as well. And I know Amelia has more numbers on this with us, but I know that there's about 15% of our veteran population that we treat actually doesn't receive any benefits from the VA in terms of oral health care. That seems crazy to me. I mean, these are people that serve our country and are not being taken care of. And these are people that are falling through the gaps of service. We are providing that bridge for them to be able to get access to care through Dental Lifeline Network. And again, just having a presence in all 50 states. There are VAs everywhere. There are veterans organizations. We like to connect with them to provide that kind of access, that kind of outreach, so that we're getting involved with, those kinds of organizations so that they know about us. But then, we'll come across these veterans, and what we need is the volunteer providers to actually take on their cases as well. So
Right.
it's all very, very heartwarming, but at the end of the day, like, we're facing a crisis that we need this entire community to come together to help address.
Yeah, I love that. Very good. Thank you. That was great.
Yeah.
Amelia, how about you? Is there any things that connects you to this cause, this charitable work?
Yeah, so I spent the first 15 years of my professional career in education, primarily special education. And so I've always had a heart for giving back and for vulnerable populations. And once I transitioned into the nonprofit world, I felt really strongly about serving, um, like Gage was saying, those folks who fall through the cracks. And there are a lot of great charitable organizations out there for children. But like Gage mentioned, there aren't many dental organizations out there that serve the vulnerable adult population. So when I learned about Dental Lifeline Network and saw the incredible work they're doing and heard the incredible patient testimonials, I had to be a part of it.
Yeah. And I think that we've talked about this next question I want to ask in passing a little bit, but when you guys see the biggest needs, so let's say I am a doctor in Salt Lake City, we've talked about some of the patients, but what are you seeing right now? Like, if there is a biggest needs, a majority of needs across the country today, when it comes to the patients that are being seen, is there anything that's like happening that you're seeing that's like, oh man, we gotta help with this. This is like a real problem. Anything like that that's actually a majority of the patients or the biggest needs?
Yeah, I would say there's a few things. So one of the biggest challenges we're seeing right now is that the need for care is continuing to grow while access to care is becoming more difficult.
Hmm.
So across the country, we're seeing ongoing concerns about changes to Medicaid and Medicare coverage. And it's important to remember that in a lot of states, Medicaid generally doesn't cover comprehensive care for adults. And a lot of veterans, like Gage mentioned, also face challenges because they're only eligible for dental benefits through the VA if their dental issues are service related. So
Hmm.
there's just a lot of people who fall through the cracks. At the same time, accessing dental care in general has become more difficult. Many communities are experiencing provider shortages, transportation barriers,
Right.
financial challenges that just make it harder for people to get care. Um, on the volunteer side, I would say we're seeing a shift as well. Many of the dentists who help build our program and our volunteer base over the last 50 years are reaching retirement age. All of those
Hmm.
baby boomers are retiring,
Right.
and
Right.
we're incredibly grateful for everything that they've done over the last several decades. But now we are shifting to really focus on engaging the next generation of dental professionals. So that's why our work right now around volunteer recruitment and retention is so important. We really want early career dentists to know that volunteering doesn't have to mean treating dozens of patients, that just helping one patient a year in your own office, on
Right.
your own schedule, with your own staff, your own equipment, can really change somebody's life. And it's somebody, who lives in your neighborhood, in your community.
I love that. And that's such a good goal. Just even start with one patient a year. That's very smart. Very good. All right, let's pretend that I'm a Crown Council doctor. I'm listening. I'm so excited. I'm so engaged. Let's say, what's the next step? Am I going to call you? Can you talk about how a dentist or a dental team launches into participating? Is that okay? Should we do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say they can call me if they want to ask more questions and learn more about specifics. I'm
Okay.
happy to provide my phone number, my email address. I love chatting with people who care about the community and giving back. I would also say that you can visit our website, yidental.org, and sign up to learn more or to volunteer. And what will happen is you'll be connected with your local state coordinator, and they can share a patient profile with you and ask if you'd like to consider seeing them for a consult.
Very good. Okay. Anything to add to that, Gage?
Yeah, I think that as Amelia was saying, like what we try to do, what our goal is to make this program as simple as possible for these potential volunteers. We understand that if you're coming into this and you don't know what to expect, oh my gosh, are they going to be sending me a patient every quarter? Like, what are we looking at here?
Right.
We understand the nature of this care providing is a connection to a real life person who is in need of a lot of work at this point in time. What we want to do is create a bridge between a patient who, like Amelia said, lives in your neighborhood, who is in your backyard, who is suffering at the moment. We had this great story about an Army veteran that actually was suffering for a long time with severe tooth decay. He had broken dentures that were being held together with super glue and didn't know what to do because he didn't have the benefits to get anything done. And he knew that if he went into a dental office, he'd probably get reprimanded. He didn't want to have to deal with it. One of his family members actually found our program, got him signed up for it. He's pain-free now. He can eat comfortably. He can face the world. And that's how we want things to be. We want these kinds of people, like the people watching this webinar right now, like we want this to be a situation where you are able to make that difference in someone's life and make a difference that you feel really good about. And you're able to say, if it wasn't for me, this person wouldn't be pain-free. This
Right.
person wouldn't be living that way. So
Right.
we're excited to be able to make those connections for people because the relationships that come out of these connections to these patients end up changing lives of the dentists as well. We hear that
For
all the
sure.
time.
Good. And it's funny, I've been to many Crown Council offices where they get back from a humanitarian trip, they print the pictures, they print the posters, they put them all over the office. And I know that might sound a little odd, but it is so fun to share those stories with with your patients, that they get to see you doing something different, that they get to see you helping and serving and being involved, and they love to share that story. I've seen it in some Crown Council offices where the patient then leaves and they're like, "You'll never believe what my dentist does. They bring in veterans whose mouths are destroyed, and my doctor is actually serving these people from our community." Those are really fun stories that spread for doctors, and
And we talk to people all the time. I have people that are, in the dental marketing business all the time who are coming up to me and telling me the first thing that people do is go to your homepage of your dental office to find out where your phone number is so that they can schedule an appointment. The second thing they do is go to your About Us page. They
mm,
want to know who you are. They
right.
want to know what things are important to you. If you are community minded, if you do give back, and
Yeah.
what that means. And I know Amelia has a great thing about connecting the two things. Amelia, you go ahead. You have a great phrase for this.
I like to when people are thinking about volunteering, I tell them that it's a great HR and great PR strategy for the
Sure.
office. So there's I constantly hear at dental conferences as I'm traveling around the country that staff turnover is a big concern for a lot of dental practices. And when staff members can rally around a shared mission and a neighbor in their own community and really changing their life, that helps boost morale. That helps with retention. That just helps with good vibes in general in the office. And like
Yeah,
Gage was saying, patients care about seeing healthcare clinicians who are invested in their community.
I
And
agree.
I'm more likely to choose a dentist that's giving back and is that and who's community minded than not.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there are statistics around that, Amelia. Maybe I'll share them with you, that people do pick companies who are doing good in communities and then just in general. So I agree with you. Very good.
Really?
Gage and I talked earlier about how, as a Crown Council membership, so participating by volunteering, or there's a second option, uh, the Smiles for Life Foundation. You have the opportunity to donate 50% of the money that you raise through whitening to local charities. This is an opportunity if you would like to participate in that way, if you do not have a local charity or you want to change to something that you're more passionate about. Dental Lifeline Network could be your charity that you donate your whitening money or 50% of your whitening money to. Very easily done. They're, like we said, they were created in 1974. We can change or adjust your Smiles for Life campaign, who you give money to, and the charity that you want to partner with. So you can participate that way, or as we've talked about, you can volunteer, and we can get going on that direction. Okay,
Absolutely.
did I explain
Yeah.
it right? Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
because the DDS program is nationwide, we do have a presence in all 50 states. So
Okay.
we have care coordinators that are, working in your neighborhoods, trying to get people involved. And yes, of course, we'd love you to volunteer, but so many people on this podcast, listening to this podcast, are probably already Smiles for Life Foundation donors,
Yep.
through the whitening program. So if you wanted to make us your charity of choice, I mean, it's essentially guaranteed impact. You know the impact that you're going to be making in your own backyard. You know the fact that because you probably know many of the dentists that are doing this volunteer work. Some of the people who are on this call probably have already taken patients for us, and for that we thank you.
Yeah.
We're very grateful for the opportunity to spread the word about what we do. But I know there's a lot of dentists out there that have probably been giving their time to the DDS program for a while now too.
Yeah. Very good. All right. As we wrap up, here it comes. We're sitting at dinner together. What are you going to say to me as a doctor who's considering volunteering? What are you going to say to take that first step? How are you going to
I
go
would
ahead, Amanda?
say I would say just just try treating one patient. Start with one patient. Um, like I said, beyond changing that patient's life, there's so many benefits to your practice. Patients notice when their dentist is invested in the community. Um, and your employees notice too. They want to stick around and they want to be a part of something good. So if you want to retain your employees, you want to keep your patients loyal, this is a great strategy, and you're changing a life while you're at it.
Yeah, and I would say think about your community. Think about where the need is greatest in your community and how you yourself can easily make an impact. Again, we're doing everything we can to make this as light a lift as possible in terms of volunteerism. This isn't a situation where you're giving up a weekend or things like this.
Right.
We fit the patients into your already booked schedules. We're working with your office in tandem to make this as light a lift as possible. And the amount of change that you can make is really just it's hard to quantify, honestly, because you're really giving these people back a smile, you're giving them back confidence. And a lot of these people are people who have never had a really great relationship with dentists, and they're walking out of a dentist's office being like, I will never go to another dentist in my life except for this office. I'm obsessed with you guys. You guys are who I want to be with. You know, these doctors and these patients just really fall in love with each other. And it's just really the most heartwarming thing to see that, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to make that connection, and we're here to make change in the oral health care landscape happen nationwide.
Yeah, very good. Well, I just wish you two were both more passionate about this. I'm just kidding. Hey, so thank you. One of our kind of taglines that we often say to the Crown Council members is it's not about the teeth. This is about the people that are attached to the teeth, their overall health, and more importantly, just how they feel. Do they feel loved and connected with? This is such a great way to have that in your practice, not only as patients, but also as a team. I love that, Amelia, that you focused on that. Well, that was the HR part, right? The HR part of your
Yes.
HR and PR.
HR and PR. Very good. All right.
And
Did we miss
we're so
anything?
grateful to you, Stuart. Thank you so much for being such an advocate
Yes,
for us.
thank
We're so
you.
excited to be connected with Crown Council as a whole and all of your members. We're really grateful.
Happy to. And I'll include a link to your website. I'll include contact information along with this little video. Anything else? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys.
Call us up. Let's talk.
I want to do one thing. I want to tell Crown. All right. Good place to stop. I'll include a link there. I got to make sure my audio is working here. I'll include a link there to make sure that you can connect with them. You can also search online to connect. Happy to adjust your local charity if that's something you want to do. And with this recording, I'm also going to be sharing the link to sign up to be with them. So thanks for joining us today. Next week, we'll be back, Crown Council live stream Thursday at 11 Mountain. Thanks for joining us today. We're grateful to be with you. And that's it. Have a great one.